The progression of the saltwater intrusion in southern Louisiana has slowed down once again, thanks to underwater sill and better than predicted flow down the Mississippi River. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has barged nearly 38 million gallons of fresh water downriver to areas south of New Orleans, still dealing with saltwater intrusion. With wet weather in the Mississippi watershed, are we seeing any improvements to the water levels? That's the big question. Bernie Rayno has the latest, along with AccuWeather regional expert Alex Sosnowski.
We still have a problem in the Mississippi River, Alex. For those that haven't joined us before, why don't you explain why this is such a big deal along the Mississippi?
Well, basically, the Mississippi River is a water highway. They transport many goods up and down the river. The grains and crops get transported down the river. There's other commodities that get transported up the river, such as salt for the wintertime for treating the roads. So it's a major highway. It's very inexpensive to transport goods that way because you can transport a lot for very low pricing. But when you have to cut back that shipment because of low water levels, that drives up the cost. And initially, these companies absorb it, but then eventually, as you know, it's going to get passed on to the consumer. So that's why everybody should be concerned about this.
And Alex, it's been so dry in the central part of the United States this summer, early fall. And remember, we had similar problems last year. But just so people understand, I mean, the Mississippi watershed is a huge watershed covering about 40% of the country. Really quickly, what are the main rivers that really drive the water levels along the Mississippi, Alex?
Well, the biggest one is the Ohio. That pushes a lot of water. And in fact, near the confluence there, the Ohio and the Mississippi, near Cairo, the Ohio is actually putting more water into the Mississippi than the main stem itself. Then you have the Missouri, you have the Arkansas River, the Tennessee River. That's a tributary of the Ohio, actually. You have the Illinois. The Red River down near the Red River of the South, that actually doesn't flow into the Mississippi anymore. It goes into the Atchafalaya. That was all kind of mediated decades ago as far as flood prevention. So the Red River doesn't really count. And then down in the Delta region, of course, down near Louisiana, a lot of the water tends to flow away from the main stem. So the key here, Bernie, is you want to get water into these major river systems.
Yes.
That includes the upper portion of the Mississippi, too, the headwaters there.
Now, the last 30 days, yeah, look at that. The last 30 days, Alex, I mean, we've had some rain in there. As you see that dark green, that's good news. Not only that, the snow, which is not good news in the short term, but the long term. So everything that we're seeing, Alex, what are the results going forward?
Well, there's some positive signs here, but I don't want to sound too optimistic because we've got a long way to go with this yet. Now, we are getting some rain in the shorter term here, the next 5 to 7 days from the southern plains out to the middle portion of the Mississippi River and on into the Ohio basin. So the problem is it takes that water so long to get into the main stem. It's not an immediate response. But I think as you get the water coming down the Missouri, the upper portion of the Mississippi, the Ohio, and then the Arkansas River too, as that comes together over the next 3 weeks, let's say, I think you're going to get a pretty decent bump. I think there's a short-term bump coming on the main stem here in the next week or so because of the rain that's already fallen on some of these basins in the past 2 weeks. But I think you're going to get a bigger bump here coming down. That might get them out of the hole, might help them a little bit as far as the barge traffic in the short term then, perhaps starting around mid-November. But we got to keep the storms coming through the winter, and I'm not sure that that's going to happen because of the El Nino pattern. Paul Pastelok's team has talked about this. You tend to get like a split storm pattern in that case, with a good chunk of the Mississippi Basin might miss out on that rainfall in the long term. So we may be back where we started from again here in a couple of months or perhaps sooner.